It's the Laugh Smartly Show. Yes, again. Biff, Lucky, and Mr. Fun are ready. Supposedly.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Laugh Smartly. Let me just start out of the gate. What a busy week. There is a lot going on in our collective worlds and a lot going on in the greater Delmarva Peninsula. We'll come on to White Marlin Open in just a little bit, which has been a busy week in Ocean City. First off, I do want to acknowledge our sponsors. Lucky's wearing a Scotty's hat for those seeing on YouTube. Tackle Up shirt. I'm wearing Tackle Up hat and a Scotty's shirt, and Mr. Fun's wearing a Laugh Smartly hat. Real quick on Tackle Up. Obviously, very busy with the White Marlin Open, and we are hopeful later in the show, if Starlink works, we will have an interview with the principal of Tackle Up as he's coming back from one of the days of fishing, which would be awesome to get him on. So it's as I said, it's the world's largest billfish tournament. I think we keep saying that right, Lucky. I will get you to say that.
The Super Bowl of fishing?
The Super Bowl of fishing, for sure, on the East Coast of the United States, for that matter. But I would think it's if you can get Michael Jordan in his boat up here, it's got to be the Super Bowl of something. Although he's a basketball player, and that doesn't make sense, sort of. But you get my point.
You know what I feel like this week for us? I feel like we're on press row.
Yeah.
At the lead up to the Super Bowl, you get to hobnob, you get all these cool interviews and stuff like that. So I don't know. Maybe we'll get Tackle Up this year. Maybe we'll get Michael Jordan next year or something.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyways, Tackle Up again, performance fishing gear. This week, Mrs. Biff actually bought a shirt at Tackle Up to wear for the White Marlin Open. Keith S., whose daughter Abby Shorter, and you can connect the dots on what his last name is. He also bought something on tackleupbb.com. So using the Laugh15 code. So we recommend anybody going to the store in Bethany Beach or going online to tackleupbb.com for the performance fishing gear. So we will proudly be wearing it at the White Marlin Open this week. So thrilled about that. Other thing, Rockfish, just real quick public service announcement. We're going to come back to him on something else later in the show. He told me that he had a show on the calendar that I had on the online calendar for September 19th in Kinsale, Virginia. That show is no longer, but now he's doing the Gratitude Music Festival in Gloucester, Virginia on September 27th, doing an hour and 45-minute show, all original music.
Wow.
So if anybody can make it over to Gloucester, Virginia, please do that. So
where's Gloucester?
It's there's one in Massachusetts that's a Gloucester fisherman. I believe it's in Central Virginia.
All right.
Fun. I don't know that for a fact, but I think it's further away than if we were going to try to see something local to local to Rockfish. So he's got that, and again, I've put that new date onto the website. Lucky, you have some cat news in the sense that Johnny Knuckles is again endearing himself to the family. How's that going?
It's going pretty well. He's getting used to our furniture.
Okay.
Which is, digging his new claws in. Mrs. Lucky wants to get him a Catio.
What is that?
A Catio. It's a cat patio. You open up one of your house windows, and from the outside of the house, you hook up this contraption, and the cat it simulates going outside, but he's not he's sort of protected from any kind of outside dangers.
I love cats, but so much so, why don't you and Mrs. Lucky live on the patio and just hand over your house? Just hand over your house.
Do that.
Real quick, as a tangent, what happened to the frogs that were in your house?
They got let out earlier in the spring.
Okay.
We decided to let them out. And I think I may have talked about this, but we took the plants out to the backyard that these frogs were living in, and we could hear this interaction between other frogs and the frogs in the bushes. So there was some kind of reunion. They got reunited. They back together after a winter in our house.
Johnny Knuckles has been emailing me. Well, I got one email, but apparently I missed another because it said, per my first email.
Per. Nice. Okay. Very good. So,
it is International Cat Day this weekend. It's not just National Cat Day. It's International Cat Day.
Super
important.
So I don't know if it's International Opossum Day. Again, it's opossum, as we've decided. But people were asking at the wedding, which I'll come on to in a minute, asking Mrs. Biff about the opossum, who I mistakenly named Scrappy, just because it was a better name because it's one of our friends' names, but it's actually called Scruffy. So she reached out to the animal rescue person here on the Delmarva And Scruffy, as she has found out, she never saved an opossum before. She thought it might be warm and cuddly. Possum's not warm and cuddly. She said that she nursed it back to life and health, and it grew and had been growing over the last several weeks, and actually set it free, the opossum, put it into a hollowed out log so it had a place to call home. But figured that with its, it's pretty aggressive animal that she wanted to get it outside. So, Scruffy is fine. Scruffy is now out playing possum, I guess.
Nice.
The case. So that's what we have.
But Scruffy wasn't aggressive anyway during the
rescue
period.
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't know about that, but Scruffy was about the size of like 6 inches long and wounded when we found it. So, anyways, we're very happy.
You guys are wonderful. The way
Scruffy
that you love animals it brings a tear to my eyes. It really does.
Does it? No, that's
really
good.
Does.
So, speaking of tears to people's eyes, how about tears of laughter, Mr. Fun? Do we have a joke of the week?
I got a good clean one. You know what it is? It's about my journey to hopefully becoming a comic someday. I've been thinking a lot about the setup. Like, the setup is really important. I recall one time, a long time ago, when my wife was having a baby. And, when I get nervous, I tend to try to be funny. So I kept telling joke after joke, and she got mad at me. And I think I should have focused more on the delivery.
That's good.
Yep.
That is a very clean
There's
joke.
something there, right?
That was good.
I thought you already are a comedian. You said you're like trying to become one.
If I win the contest, then I get paid, and then I'm no longer an amateur comedian. I'm a professional.
But that's a good point, though. Philosophically, though, aren't you a comedian whether you get paid or not? Or do you think you have to get paid? I asked that question when
I was new, and they said you could just self-proclaim. It's like changing religions or something. Like, you just say, I'm a Catholic, and suddenly...
It's almost like calling yourself Mr. Fun when nobody else gave you that nickname. See, you're self-proclaimed.
Very different. One you earn, one you have to work for.
Well, you're putting in the work, so you deserve the title of comedian.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, good. So I mentioned last week that I was officiating a wedding. So I was the person speaking and in front of the guests and obviously the bride and groom, and giving them their vows and all that stuff. So I did that this past weekend. Mr. Fun was in attendance among the guests, or I believe the number was 190 or thereabouts of wow. guests of our friend Gerb and his daughter Sarah marrying Zach, a great guy. And I think I did a pretty good job, except for one thing, Lucky. So I'm given all these, like, you've got to tell people to turn their phones off, to not have them coming up, blah, blah, blah. And at one point, I had two other tasks, which was to tell them, the guests, when to stand, which I did. I signaled when to stand. What I forgot to do, because I started talking, because I had a little section in there before I asked Gerb who gives away this woman thing. I was supposed to then tell them to sit down. I had the bride and groom right in front of me. So my perspective was sort of, admittedly blocked. I didn't think about it. And all of a sudden I'm talking for probably a minute or so. And
10 minutes.
No, it wasn't 10 minutes. It was a minute. I know how. It's easy now. It's an outdoor wedding, by the way. And all of a sudden I feel somebody on my shoulder, and I'm under a gazebo thing. And I feel somebody on my shoulder. I look over, and it's the sound guy from the AV company. He goes, "You're supposed to tell them to sit down." I had forgotten to tell the audience to sit down. So we had a little joke about it, and
it was
all
funny.
worked out.
No, you played it off well. You said, I was so excited to get started. That was good. You also played off. Oh, are you going to tell the other?
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
You played off perfectly. He said, "By the power invested in me by the state of Pennsylvania, I declare you husband and wife." Right. And then he paused, and they started kissing. And Biff goes, "You kind of jumped the gun on that. I'm the one who's supposed to say you kissed the bride." So that was funny. That got
that worked out well. That would be a memory for them. Yeah. But because they were anxious to kiss each other, so it was actually quite. Yeah. It was funny. It was great.
The first stand-up wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a question for you. How long did you know that you were going to do this? Like how
they came to me in December, I guess it was, somewhere around that, November, December. It might have been Thanksgiving. They asked me.
So you knew you were going to do this like priest-like thing for 6 months?
Yes.
Is that why you also chose to be celibate for the last 6 months?
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
That's very good.
All right. What's the odds of you doing this again with your certification?
It was great. You should do it every weekend.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'm glad I did it, and it would be an honor to do it again for somebody if they so desire. I had positive comments. I wasn't searching them out. People came up to me, people I knew, but obviously people I didn't know either from the groom side of the family. So it was great. And I if anybody gets that chance ever to do it, do it. The whole thing, honestly, my speaking part and everything was 8.5 minutes. Okay. I know it felt longer, Mr. Fun, but it was 8.5 minutes because I timed it. I read it a ton. Yeah. But it's a real privilege and honor. So if you get the chance, do it. And if somebody wants me to do it, my fee's reasonable.
Contact at laughsmartly.com. If you want a Laugh Smartly branded preacher certified in the state of Pennsylvania who can bang out 7.5 minutes.
I can do it in other states too. I just had to do it. Pennsylvania wouldn't allow you to do it, to be an officiant without being registered through the Universal Life Church. That's what I did it through.
Nice. I'd like to congratulate you for doing a great job, but Sarah and Zach, Lucky, you would have liked, there was sort of an underlying theme, although they had great food as entrees. It was a sports related theme. So it was cheesesteaks and hot dogs. It was those big pretzels, but they were in the shape of a heart. It was Italian subs. It was Philadelphia, a few tastefully done, a hockey stick and it was great. It was great. It was really
so
good.
I had sort of a joke in the ceremony, Lucky, to play to the crowd. And I said something about the Philadelphia singing Fly Eagles Fly. And a couple of them started singing it during the ceremony.
It was great. The groomsmen just started singing Fly Eagles Fly.
It was actually kind of funny.
And it was appropriate. It was
because she's a Washington fan. So there was an Eagles fan marrying a Washington fan.
They also had a beer boy. They had
beer boys handing out beers while walking down the aisle. They had a guy walk down first that was throwing out rose petals. He was very
flamboyant,
demonstrative. It was very funny.
Flamboyant.
So, so one of the other things, like from the wedding, which was new to me and Mr. Fun, and we've been to several weddings over the past couple of years. The music started to take a turn where we didn't recognize much of the music, and this is the bride and groom are 27, I believe that's their age. Okay. Grew up in the Philadelphia area. And they played some of the classic stuff, like wedding songs. It was a
DJ.
There was a DJ. But some of them was like, Earth, Wind and Fire, September, songs that you would know, from bands, they played ABBA, they played stuff like that.
A little bit of 80s funk that's popular.
Yeah, they did that. They even played, Mrs. Biff's favorite song, which is Boogie Shoes. So they played that. Good one. But then kind of as you get later into the evening, I guess as they're anticipating some of the older folk leaving, they played such classics as Puffin on Zootiez by the band Future. No idea who that is. Okay. Or Smack That by Akon and Eminem. Again, don't know. Then they played a song HYFR, which means hell yeah, F right. Okay. So I'm going to do this for the radio. The other ones they played, what were some other classic ones? Well, they played Pink Pony Club, which I had heard before, Chapel Roan. Mr. Fun, I'm not sure, had heard it before, at least had never paid attention to the words. He started calling it, Mr. Fun, I'll leave that to you.
Big Boner Club is what I was thinking.
Yeah, so that was
I didn't really understand the words. I was improvising.
Yeah, so it was a new take. Then there were songs like Rich Baby Daddy by Drake and Sexy Red.
You don't know that song?
I don't know that song. I Like It by Cardi B and Bad Bunny. Then there's the N-Words in Paris. Can't say the word. Jay-Z and Kanye West classic.
Of course.
Yeah. Then there was My Chick Bad by Ludacris and Dance Ass by Big Sean.
Well, okay. When these songs
dollar signs as the S's, right? There were dollar signs as the S's.
Yeah.
When these songs are coming on, are you guys out there trying to break it down a little bit with some moves with your ladies or not?
It's a little tough when you're just amazed at the lyrics that you're hearing from these songs, and then some of the actions of the younger ladies and the and dancing out there. I think we all agreed it wasn't the place for us at that point in time.
At one point there was a chair and people were dancing on the chair.
There was some twerking.
There was twerking, tastefully done twerking, but nevertheless twerking.
They did play
Caroline or anything.
What was your wedding song?
Any Sweet Caroline?
They didn't play Sweet Caroline. I don't think they did. I don't remember it. But they played songs like that. They did play Hava Nagila. And I can't remember having seen that before. I probably have, where they put them up in the air on the chairs.
Oh, yeah.
Very dangerous to do that at literally 15 minutes left of the wedding.
As a guy from Jersey who's gone to many Jewish weddings,
yes,
it was poorly done. The outside didn't dance around in the circle. You need strong guys with yarmulkes to lead that group. Yeah. They just didn't have that. They didn't have that. There were a lot of wannabe, doing it, wannabes.
At my wedding, it was a pure Catholic wedding, but at the reception, I think all my friends had me up in the air, passing me around with no chair.
Huh? No chair. What song? What was your song?
Oh, I don't. Oh, my first song. Well, Mrs. Lucky and I had a big debate, so we had actually two of them. Yeah. Let's Stay Together by Al Green. We played it first, and then Love Is a Battlefield by Pat Benatar was
nice.
We danced to.
What about you, Biff? Do you remember?
Ours was a song, "Wink and a Smile" by Harry Connick Jr. It was in a movie. I can't remember the movie it was in exactly, but it was that was the
Mrs.
movie.
Fun picked ours out. It was I still haven't found what I'm looking for. Do you know that one?
Very funny.
I'm joking, by the way, about Love Is a Battlefield. You guys didn't even remark about that.
I thought you were serious. I thought it was funny.
Can you imagine if somebody had that as their first song?
Sorry, I was thinking about my joke. I didn't pick up yours.
So speaking of songs and move off the wedding topic, so I'm listening to some music. I was doing some stuff around the house yesterday, and there's a group, Tame Impala, which I believe is an Australian band, something like that. But they had a line in there that says something about Groundhog Day. And it got me thinking about the expressions like Groundhog Day, and when did that become an expression? Obviously, Groundhog Day happens every year, Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, blah, blah, blah. And I went online, and it says, in modern usage, Groundhog Day has become a metaphor for monotonous or unchanging situations, gained widespread popularity from the 1993 film Groundhog Day. So it wasn't popular to say that until the movie with Bill Murray. Do you recall saying it before that? I don't know. I don't remember.
Well, before that, is it just me or have we spoken about Groundhog Day before?
Deja vu.
Yeah, got it. As well. I swear my mom, when I was growing up, said, wow, it feels like Groundhog Day. Like it was popular with her. I don't know.
I was 14 at the time, so I don't know if I would use any kind of term like that. So
interesting.
But it was just one of those things that when you have these expressions, we've talked about expressions over the last couple of weeks in terms of what our kids do not or do understand things we've said. But that one did hit me again because
it's my new go-to expression. People, I don't know why. People ask me how it's going. I say every day's Groundhog Day. It's pretty depressing. But
I know. Well, you've got to come up with a more. You need a better expression.
I know.
Sure. So, mentioned it briefly at the outset that Rockfish had some other news that he made this week. And Mr. Fun, why don't you? We had a provocative question. Why don't you go through that very quickly, and then what happened following that?
We, I said, you go out on social media, you don't give an explanation, you won't answer any questions. In fact, you say, I can't talk more about it, but I need everybody to send me $1. And we went around guessing who would send you $1. And today, as we were preparing for the show, I received a Zelle payment of $1 from Rockfish, which is totally funny and totally cool. And I want to thank him. I also want to tell the guys here, I don't think you guys got the $1, did you?
I don't have Zelle.
I appreciate it. So I'm well on my goal to get $32,000 donated to me. If you're out there and feel empowered.
Wait, you're supposed to set a goal?
No, I just want $32,000. So I want 32,000 people to each send me $1.
Should we direct all the dollars towards you so that you?
No. I want you guys to see that I have more friends than you.
Well, we'd have a Laugh Smartly car if we could direct them all.
I'll do that. I'll wrap your car. I'll wrap your Jeep.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So, well, I did not get $1, but of course we didn't raise the topic either, so that's all right. I was also sitting around in the hotel room over the weekend. I don't remember how long ago. The dire wolf. I don't remember how to spell dire. I assume it's dire, was extinct. This was a wolf that was extinct, but this company called Colossal, I think that's their name, had taken the DNA from a dire wolf, whether it must have come from a bone or whatever it was, and they created a dire wolf. So they call it de-extincting it.
Yeah,
which is a term probably a modern term that had never existed before. But they did that with the dire wolf. So they're interviewing this guy, and I'm watching a business network because it's a public company now. and he talked about that they have funding and they're doing pretty well. And their number one request from anybody is to recreate. Actually, I'll go with number two. Number two is to recreate the dodo bird.
Yes.
Number one is to recreate the woolly mammoth.
Yeah.
The woolly mammoth, who's known for eating cavemen and just ravaging people. Wasn't it a dangerous beast?
I have no idea if they were dangerous. They were huge, right? They had the big tusks, right?
Yeah.
And the dodo, again, those were the two that they're known for. The interviewer was like, well, why do this? What's the good of this? And the guys, which is not a surprising answer, said, look, it's nice to do the things with DNA and de-extincting things, but they think there's going to be a market, obviously, for humans at some point, right? Is how do you use this either for good from a standpoint of illnesses and cancers and things like that. But you can imagine it could be for, long term, cloning Mr. Fun in the future.
Or bringing back Ted.
You go ahead, sorry.
Bringing back Ted Williams. He's got his head frozen.
Yeah.
Yep.
Waiting for technology to catch up so that he can bring himself back.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why I imagine this, but wouldn't you think a woolly mammoth would have a better memory than a regular elephant? Just because it's older and
what?
I think it would. I think a woolly mammoth would have a great memory.
Do you like going to museums where they've got the old skeletal
I do.
items? Yeah. And then when's the last time you've been to a museum that had a big, a dinosaur exhibit or anything like that?
I don't know.
I was in San Antonio a couple of weeks ago. I think I mentioned it. And we were at the Texas Ranger Museum, and they find all kinds of stuff buried out there. Big bones of different animals. They had a whole exhibit on that kind of thing.
Why would the Texas Rangers have that?
It was a Texas Rangers museum, but also had a wing of taxidermed animals. And these animals that aren't around anymore, they had found them and, brought them back to life in this one section of this little museum they had.
Here's a different segue. You're a New York Rangers fan, right, Mr. Fun? Do you know why they're called the Rangers?
Oh, I did. But tell me.
The owner's first name, the original team, his nickname was Tex, T-E-X.
Okay.
And they were Texas possessive Rangers. That's how they came up with the New York Rangers, because it makes no sense why it's in New York with the New York Rangers at that point. But that's so it's a good name. It's a good name. So.
I think that whole thing, dinosaur bones get old. It gets old.
It gets old. You're carbon dating yourself.
Getting on
how does carbon dating work?
When two carbons like each other, they start carbon dating.
And they create a diamond?
Maybe.
No, that's coal. I'm sorry, Lucky, how does it work?
I thought you were wanting to know what the scientific part of carbon dating is.
I did. Yeah, I did want to know
they can tell by the chemistry of the rock or whatever device, wood or bone or whatever. They can tell by how long it's decomposed, I think.
Another thing we sort of know the answer to. I'm joined by Matt Haney of Tackle Up right now. He's coming to us via Starlink about 40 miles off the Ocean City coast as he's competing in the White Marlin Open on his boat, the Smoke. Great to have you on. So you went 80 miles. Is that typical on the White Marlin Open to go that far out, or you have a range? What's the range that you have to go?
You can go up to 100 miles.
And when you go out on a day like today, do you just you have the setup to just go for white marlin, or do you make a choice? Do you go against tuna? Do you go for mahi? How do you handle that?
Yeah, the primary setup is for white marlin.
Now you've competed in the white marlin how many years then, approximately?
Well, I think this is our 10th season.
10th season. I saw the Smokers 2016. Is that right? Did I have that right? When you had the Smoker, has it always been the Smoker since you've been doing?
Yeah, we've competed on it.
Okay. And how big of a crew do you have every time you go out?
So we have a captain and two mates. Our primary mate, and then another, he actually captains another boat in the Outer Bones, so he comes as our mate.
Okay. And what?
Our captain and both of the mates have their captain's licenses. Yeah.
Yeah. Would you ever go, just curious, would you ever go out on a smaller boat? I mean, there's obviously different classes of boats that go out. It's got to be to go, you got to go at least 40 miles, I imagine, to get to the shelf. It's got to be hard to go out on a small boat that far out. Or do a lot of people do
it? Depends on the conditions. It was really rough today. It was rough going out. It was pretty rough out there. Fortunately, we have a seakeeper on our boat, so it keeps the boat pretty level. But we saw a lot of boats rocking. There were some smaller boats, too. There was a small boat class. We actually had a 33-foot Grady White as well. We come out here.
Yeah.
And, we'll go 60, 70 miles an hour.
So,
definitely more comfortable in the shelter.
Now, it's a silly question. So, when you are fishing, are you trawling? Meaning, are you moving slowly, or are you just you're sitting still?
No, we're trolling.
You're trolling. Okay. And then, so in terms of, big tourneys that you've been in, obviously the White Marlin is known as the world's largest billfish tournament, right? So have you won prize money in the White Marlin for White Marlin? No. Have you won it for other fish in the White?
There's new categories on daily, so we've been to the race station with other folks.
Yeah.
Over the years.
So you pay an entry fee, right, to get into the White Marlin. And that's just, every boat pays an entry fee. But then there's some form of a Calcutta. So how does
categories. Well,
yeah, how does that work? So you then bet extra. Can I use the word bet? Forgive me if it's the wrong word.
Well, yeah, I guess you're betting on yourself, right?
Yeah.
Entering those other categories. So that's why when you follow the White Marlin, we actually have it on the screen.
Yeah.
You can see behind us in the boat. So weigh-in started at 5 o'clock. So you'll be following it. Yesterday it was just 2 o'clock. Only 16 or 17 boats went out yesterday.
Yeah.
Today, 255 boats went out.
Wow, that's a pretty big part of the fleet, right?
You'll see, so there's 334 entries on 1.9 million in estimated prize money. And then, so we enter multiple categories. So we honor the majority of the White Marlin and the tuna and the blue Marlin categories. You can tell up within probably all in, might be close to $90,000 if you entered absolutely anything.
Yeah, so the White Marlin pays obviously several million. The winning fish does, right? The largest one, or however they calculate it. Forgive me.
It's based on the calculation. It's based on the category we honor.
Right. Okay. Are there such thing as like freelance crew members? Do people just
sure.
They do that? And how does somebody? Have you ever had a freelance crew member, or you've always had your own crew? Just curious.
Not well. Our captain has, a lot of relationships. So
right.
We have part-time crew that come up just for loose tournaments.
Okay.
We've had the same couple guys who've come every year for, 5 or 6 years. This week's the oldest, the last 3.
Right.
So,
now, do those crew members get a percentage of any winnings, or they just get a fee?
The boat and the crew does.
They do get a percentage of that. So. How much, just curious, how much fuel does it take to go back and forth 80 miles, back and forth? How much fuel are you burning?
You're talking 50, so probably about, 300 to 400 gallons.
300 to 400 gallons.
Absolutely.
Okay. In terms of making the decision to go out, obviously it's a beautiful day from in the sky day, right? You're saying the seas are rough. How do you make the determination on what's a day to go out? Because you got to go 3 of the 6 days, right? How do you make that determination?
That's the captain's decision.
Oh, okay.
Most of it's based on weather. It's based on, a lot of these guys are collaborate. I mean, they all have their secrets and their secret places, but, they all have a good relationship. So they're, kind of collaborative. Whatever they think the fish might be. And then, where they go is based on water temperature and some other things. So,
yeah. Is the you're in a competition, obviously, but is the camaraderie pretty good between the boats
absolutely. Yeah, back at the dock. So where we're back, we have a slip in the White Marlin Marine, which is on Somerset, right at the end of Ocean City.
Yeah.
And the majority, there's boats from Ocean City there, but there's a fleet of boats from the Outer Banks that came up to push the tournament.
Yeah.
And they're all there, and they all kind of know each other. We know them a little bit too. We'll all hang out afterwards on the dock. Everybody I talk to everybody, and have a beer together, that type of thing.
I've got just 2 more questions for you, Matt. One, do you have any superstitions when you go fishing?
No bananas on the boat.
For what? No banana. I've never heard of that. Just for the slipping?
No.
Is that what it is?
No. Well, it's one of those kind of old wives' tales. It's bad luck.
Okay.
It goes back to the early days when they would import bananas overseas, and they would come over with spiders and snakes and disease and that type of thing.
Yeah.
On boats, boats would literally sink. Everyone would die on the boats because of the disease and that type of thing. So there's no bananas in that.
Okay. And then
you can Google it too. It's all over the internet.
I believe you.
We tell them, don't, if they're coming for the first time, and say, don't bring any bananas. Like, why? So just Google it.
And so if just because I haven't pushed the smoker a lot, if somebody wants to you can charter the smoker, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yes. Is that only through the Tackle Up website, or is there another?
No, it's all smokersportfishing.com.
Okay.
I'll get you to the smoker shelter. It's in the Outer Banks the majority of the year.
Okay.
And the fishing is amazing there. They'll catch bluefin tuna all went along, and we're going to go out this time of year and catch white marlin, blue marlin, and sailfish all in the same day. It's pretty amazing fishing there.
Well, that's awesome. Well, I hope to see you at the scales with something to win this week. That would be
we
awesome.
hope to see you there too. That means we will.
Yeah, that's great.
That's the goal, right?
Yeah, and again, we are we love the relationship with Tackle Up Bethany Beach, tackleupbb.com, as we say every week on the show, especially now on the radio WGMD's 98.5, the Talk of Delmarva. So, Matt, safe travels back, you and the crew, and I'll look forward to catching up with you when you're on land next.
Great, thanks.
Thank you. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Take care, brother.
Okay, so I saw this article in the Ocean City Dispatch last week, and I thought it would be interesting. It caught my eye, like, immediately by the headline. It was in the crime section of the newspaper, which they have some crazy things that happen in Ocean City. But the headline was definitely an eye catcher: vehicle masturbation. I'm like, okay, I got to read this article. A local man was charged with indecent exposure after allegedly being found masturbating in his vehicle on July 4th at about 11:43 a.m. So middle of the morning on 135th Street. He was in his silver Nissan sedan and been sitting in front of someone's house for a bunch of hours. And this guy Joshua Connor, 35, Ocean City, was in his vehicle.
Oh, his name. They even give his name, huh?
Yes.
They put his name, yeah.
Poor guy, he's just celebrating the 4th of July.
Yeah.
Independence Day.
But here's the thing. Okay, so the story goes on. The police approached the vehicle, and the officer observed containers at his feet. It was a bunch of White Claws, the drinks. So he was pounding White Claws and pounded something else at the same time, and said he was sort of hanging out. But then the police said, somebody said you were playing with yourself, and he said his father had testicular cancer and had lost a testicle, and this guy Connor was very sensitive about checking for tumors in his testicles. He stated that he was could have been drunk, and he spent too much time checking his balls, his testicles, and he's sorry that he spent too much time doing it.
The excuse is beautiful. The rookie mistake, taken from somebody who wouldn't make this rookie mistake, was the White Claws,
who's never got caught.
Yeah, the White Claws. You don't want to compound the situation. He probably could have gotten it. He probably could have gotten by with it.
There's so many double entendres there. So here's first, Lucky, your place is on what street?
127th.
Okay, so your alibi is secure. You're not on 130th.
And I don't drive a Nissan, so
yeah. You don't drive. Well, okay, but yeah, you could have borrowed one.
I do bang out a White Claw every now and again.
Okay, stop saying words that are just feed into this banging out a White Claw. So, indecent exposure if you're in your car. Now, why is your car different than your house?
Because I guess it's out in public. That's considered out in public.
I don't think you can do that in front of like an open window in your house either.
Okay, but somebody has to be looking.
I mean, I always like pull the blinds, thinking that would be bad.
You can't pleasure yourself in front of your window, but
no. When I decide to do a little white clawing,
is that what we're calling it now?
That's white clawing.
White clawing. Okay, well that's a fair point. So, but I was just like, okay, so somebody has to see you, right, to be considered indecent exposure.
Yes.
And 3 people had seen him.
It's like a tree falling in the forest.
Yeah, that's right.
If somebody doesn't see you, you didn't do it.
Well, here's the thing: the guy had been sitting there for hours. Now, did he just get bored? I mean, he was drinking all his White Claws, and he just got tired of listening.
It sounds like he was getting sentimental. He was worried about his father. He was like, I better check. On every minute.
Loves fireworks.
Loves things going off.
Loves being independent.
Well, he did get charged with indecent exposure and open container of alcohol possession. I think we're going to have to continue to watch the Ocean City Dispatch to see if he takes it to trial, and the Johnny Cochran of Ocean City comes in and defends this guy, because I think he's got a case.
Yeah, he may. I mean, because it's there. I'm sure there are a lot of false allegations, because on that same page that you sent around, Lucky, as I was quick to point out, there was another false allegation that there was a Mr. Amos who apparently was driving a car, and the police pulled him over and found a crack pipe of some sort, or whatever, meth pipe. I don't know what it is. And he claimed first it wasn't his, and then he went on to say, well, it's actually salt. So, again, who knows?
What is happening in Ocean City?
Edward Amos said he was holding the pipe for someone else.
Yes.
And the crystalline substance was salt. So you can see with it, that it could have easily been a mistake.
Salty air, that's you never know. So I don't know.
Guys should get together and compare notes.
I think Amos, though, that dude was 63 years old. That guy's like, what's he doing? Crack piping around
in Ocean City.
City.
Maybe he's frustrated that he can't White Claw it anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. All right. The other thing. So from our entertainment section of the show, I saw the movie Odyssey last night, which is one of the top.
You see it on IMAX?
I couldn't tell. It got filmed in IMAX, but I don't know if it was IMAX or not.
Well, if you would have seen it in an IMAX theater and paid twice the price of a movie theater,
$20
ticket.
I paid.
Yeah, that was just normal. I'm sure it was on a big screen, but okay.
Yeah. But so interesting, because the publicity was big. Everybody's going to see it, so I was like, oh, okay. I'm not a really big Greek mythology fan. So, but it's really cool because they have Matt Damon, Anne Hathaway, Charlize Theron is in it, a bunch of other big name actors and actresses. But I thought it was really cool to see the story. I remember hearing bits and pieces of the Odyssey and the story of Odysseus from prior years. But Matt Damon played Odysseus, the main character, and Charlize Theron was like a side character, but Anne Hathaway was his wife or whatever. But 2 hours and 13 minutes. It was a pretty long movie. But I would highly recommend it.
You liked it?
Really interesting because the way they spoke was like in Greek prose, if you want to call it that, but they used the word F throughout the movie all the time. I didn't know the word F was that long. It had been around that long.
I didn't think it had been either. I thought it was an Anglo-Saxon derivation of some form. Yeah. So later than that. Is the Odyssey the same as Homer's Odyssey? Is that the same?
I was just going to say that.
It is. Okay, yes. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's an ancient Greek epic poem, and it's the story of Odysseus goes to fight the Trojan War. They all get it. They all on the Trojan horse. That's how they win the war. And then he tries to get home. He spends 20 years trying to get back to Ithaca, which is where he's from, to get back to his wife. While he's away, there's no king. All mayhem everything goes crazy on Ithaca. He finally comes back. There's this. Did you know what Zeus's law? You ever hear what Zeus's law is?
Nope.
Mutual respect between guests and hosts.
Okay.
Basically, it's about a husband who leaves home and has a million excuses not to come back.
To get to Cornell University. Is that Ithaca, right?
What's Cornell?
That's in Ithaca.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Look at this.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I was gonna go see it, but I'm a bit of a homer.
Yeah, the excuses are the 30-foot Cyclops prevented me from, coming home. He ate my car and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm just silly. I always thought the Trojan horse was actually a real thing, meaning it was some battle. They used a Trojan horse. It's a myth. Not trying to be.
I think it is.
Okay.
I think it is.
Okay.
They sail to Troy. They get there, and their trick is there's this massive statue of a horse. They all hide in it. They leave it on the beach. Yeah. The Troy residents come and they basically say, "Hey, we're going to take this to the queen." They take it to the queen, and they all sneak out and out of the horse, and from the inside out, beat down the.
Yeah, I learned
$250 million to make this movie, though, which is crazy.
Yeah, they've made over $1 billion, I think, in revenue at this point. So
has it really? Wow.
Yeah.
There's a good cartoon where it's they're bringing the horse into the castle, and it's too big to get through the gate, and all the guys are inside going, "Darn it, because they couldn't get in."
Oh, I was just going to say, so we had Mr. Fun had raised the point, a bad joke about tipping. I had a couple tipping things at the hotel over the weekend up in Pennsylvania. And I don't know, I felt bad on one hand on one of the tip things. And on the other one, I'm just confused as to what to do. I'll start with you go to a breakfast buffet, right? Hotels have these buffets. A lot of them are complimentary with the hotel, but they have an omelet station. And the omelet station has people obviously making omelets for you, right? And there's a tip box there. One of the challenges is a lot of time you go down the omelet station, you don't take your wallet because you're going in the hotel. You just walk downstairs with your room key. And do you feel guilty if you don't have any money? And B, what do you tip the omelet station person if you were going to do it?
I hate to admit this. I'm glad you talked about the wallet. My tipping is directly impacted by the number of the amount of money I have in my pocket.
In particular, single dollar bills, right?
Yeah, if I see that tip jar every time, I go, "What do I got in my wallet right now?" And so if I have 10 singles, I'll pull out 3 for my omelet and throw it in there.
Yeah.
If I but when I don't have it, I just pretend like it's not even there. I know that's terrible.
Yeah.
I find myself, I don't really carry very little cash, but when I do, I very rarely have ones. Yeah. So 5s are my lowest denomination, it seems.
Yeah. So I went back the second day. So I had breakfast 2 days there in a row. And I actually had a few singles. So I went back down and it's like I made the point of going to the omelet station and ordering an omelet and throwing a few dollars in there because I did feel guilty. Again, I was the exception to the rule. The rule is most people just get their omelet and they go and you feel bad about leaving the tip thing. So that was the first thing. The second one was, in the old rule of thumb, when you went to a hotel, is however many nights you stayed, it was X. If you're going to tip the house, the cleaner, it's X dollars per night, right? But actually, since COVID, they don't really clean rooms unless you're there for an extended period of time. So if you're there for 2 or 3 nights, they're basically the room's clean when you show up, and then they clean it after you left. So does that change your tipping?
Mrs. Lucky was when I didn't know that kind of tipping was appropriate until I was probably 30 years old. And if there's anyone in the tip ecosystem that deserves tips, it's those people, I think. They come into all these rooms are all, people do whatever they want in them. Yeah. The bathrooms, everything's, there's probably trash, not put it, thrown away. And they take care of it. I think if anybody, so I'm pretty generous.
Okay. I don't disagree with you though. The question though is, if it was one night and you usually left $5, right? But if it's now 3 nights, but they don't come into your room the entire time you're staying there, is it still $5 or is it $15?
Yeah, I don't necessarily do the nut per night anymore. I'm more like, if I'm there one night, I'm giving probably $10. And then, but if I'm there like a week, I'll probably, I will throw dollars, maybe a 5 or a 10 on the pillow pretty much every day.
Okay. All right.
So I'm the same. I'm $5 a day when I have the money, which again sucks. But I also, Mrs. Fun will tell you, surprisingly, I'm the neatest hotel guest. I clean up everything. I put all the towels in a pile together. Maybe I put them next to the bathtub or the shower or in the shower. I throw the pillows back on the bed. Like the room is in pretty good shape when I leave.
And that's
I think
how
if
we
it
are.
weren't, if I had an issue, if I spilled something, if I did that, I would leave a larger tip.
There was a back and forth with a provocative question this week that I will admit I didn't chime in. I believe it came from you, Mr. Fun.
Well, I watched the thing online, but I believe it was, you have to give me the numbers of how much you had to smoke and drink.
Smoke a whole pack of cigarettes and drink a case of beer a day
for 7 days.
For 7 days to get $500,000.
Okay. So it came from my friends up in Jersey, several of which said, if this is a real thing, I'm going to be the richest man in the whole world because that's what they do. Yeah. And I think we started exchanging text messages about which would you find to be easier or whatever. There is no doubt in the world, you guys know me, that I would attempt for $500,000. I would attempt to smoke a pack of cigarettes a day and drink a case of beer.
When's the last time you smoked a cigarette?
Never. I've never smoked in my life. I've tried them a couple times, but for $500,000, yeah, I would fire it up.
Smoking the cigarettes is the hardest part because I don't think I could do that. 20,
yeah, so assuming I'm up for 12 hours. No, I'm up for 16 hours. I got to smoke one and a half an hour. Wow, I would do it.
What about you, Aki?
I would think about attempting to do it, but I don't think I could do it. I've never smoked in my life. It skeeves me out to do that for 7 days in a row.
Yeah, it's 20, by the way, is the answer in a pack. I wouldn't do it. I saw it immediately, and it's the smoking. I've never put a cigarette unlit or lit in my mouth in my entire life. And I'm not going to do it for $500,000.
I would attempt to smoke the entire pack at one time. I would rip off the bottom, fire it up, and just knock it out.
Yeah, that's something. I have such disdain for smoking at that point. So
$500,000.
So, anyways, well, it'd be interesting. If others want to give us feedback on that task, Lucky, how do they get a hold of us?
Contact at laughsmartly.com. If you could do it, if people, I think old people who used to smoke are like, oh yeah, I'd love to do that because they would, welcome the chance to smoke again. Yeah. But anybody who's never smoked, but I'd like to hear it. Let's hear what everybody has to say. Contact thelaughsmartly.com.
Absolutely.
Send us some feedback.
Mr. Funny, you know where I'm going. I hope you got it ready.
Yes, I stole this. So I won't give credit, but I stole it. So I have a grandfather in Massachusetts who decided he wanted to be a grandmother. Nantucket.
Nantucket.
Oh, that's pretty good.
That's good. No, that's good. That's a funny joke. That's actually very good. So, guys, great to see you. We're going to have to wrap this up here. Again, watch us on YouTube. Please like, subscribe, and share. It's been a couple weeks since we did some shorts. We've put those back out on YouTube, so look at those. We get good reactions to that. Listen to us on the podcast platforms. All the ones you go to, we are there. So please do that again. Like, subscribe, and share.
On WGMD 98.5 as you're coming back from the White Marlin Open.
Right, on the 98.5, the Talk of Delmarva. And I hope so in the not-too-distant future to have some other big news, but we'll just kind of let that play out. So
I'd like to leave you guys with something that I'd like to share. I aspire to live in a world where a chicken can cross the road without explaining his motives.
Okay.
Until next week.
Yeah, until next week. We'll have an entire week to think about that. So until next week, again, good to see you guys. Thank you everybody for listening, and we'll look forward to seeing you and talking to you next week.
Laugh Smartly is a production of Laugh Smartly Industries. Please subscribe, like, and share wherever you listen and watch us. And we'd love to hear from you, so email us at contact@laughsmartly.com. Thank you again for listening.